Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. We are coming closer and closer to the month of Adar. An important principle of the month of Adar is to increase our simcha, increase our joy, to be happy. So it's time to start practicing, to get ready for Adar. What better way to increase our simcha starting now? So, we've spoken about in previous videos that it's important to connect to God with our intellect and our emotions. But there's a way of being happy beyond intellect, beyond even the intellect, the emotions that normally we feel. There's a happiness that is beyond logic, that's beyond limitation. And that stems from will, stems from ratzon. As you know, in the Sfirot, will is above intellect. And compared to will, intellect is more limited. I always bring the example, a mother loves their child not because of intellect, because it's so one with her. It's so intrinsic to her to love her child. So too, we can connect to God far beyond the level of logic. We connect to God because it's so intrinsically connected to each and every one of us. So too with simcha, we can have a joy that's one with us, that's above logic. And that starts with just acting upon our simcha, not thinking about why I should be happy, not needing a reason to be happy, rather be happy because Hashem says so. I don't need to understand why I'm happy. I don't need a reason to be happy, because then the Yetzer Hara can always give us a reason to not be happy. Chas v'shalom. So, actually, an important lesson we learn in Tanya is that when fighting the evil inclination, the Alter Rebbe gives an example that our neshama is stronger than the evil inclination. But if we don't try, if we don't have enthusiasm, we'll lose. And chas v'shalom. And so he gives the example, the Alter Rebbe, of if two enemies are fighting against each other, they're both trying to throw each other to the ground, knock each other out. Even if the much stronger fighter, it's true, he might be much stronger than his opponent, but if he's sad and he's unenthusiastic and he's not trying, he's not putting any effort, he's very lackadaisical, even though he's much stronger than his opponent, he'll lose. But if he puts a little simcha, if he gets excited and he just puts, all he needs is to just get a little enthusiastic and motivated, and he'll be able to put his enemy to the ground very easily. That's an analogy for our neshama and the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, that we're much stronger than our evil inclination because we're from Hashem. Our neshama is a piece of Hashem, and Hashem is beyond infinite. And the Yetzer Hara is weaker than our neshama. But if we don't put in that effort, if we don't push ourselves, if we don't get excited to fight the Yetzer Hara, then it's true we could be much stronger, but we could end up being overcome, God forbid, by him. So all it takes is a little bit of joy, and then we'll be able to put him to the ground, break the Yetzer Hara. And joy is exponential. That it says when a person's sad, God forbid, they bring down even more sadness from above upon themselves. But when a person's happy, they bring down even more happiness from above. So happiness is an exponential growth. You ever notice that when someone's in a good mood, they're happy, they see everything through the lens of joy, and they start to notice the beauty in everything, and their joy is exponential. They get happier and happier and happier. So we can do that. First of all, we connect to Hashem with simcha. We connect to God with joy beyond logic. We have to get comfortable being happy without understanding why we're happy, without having a reason to be happy, but rather our happiness will be so intrinsically one with us. So that's how we do that. We've got to get ourselves used to doing that on a consistent basis. And then we'll notice that when we sometimes it's against our nature to be happy because the Yetzer Hara wants us to be lazy and like down on ourselves. So it takes that little bit of a push to be in a good mood. But once we find ourselves happy, we're going to notice that everything around us will be through the lens of happiness. And every situation that we encounter will actually increase our joy, and we'll see the beauty within it. And then the point is not to negate the emotions, the intellect and the emotions, but to connect to God above our emotions and our intellect. And when we do that, it's like we click in the piece, and then it's able to flow down into our intellect and emotions. And then we'll find even more reasons to be happy, and our emotions will feel a love. That happiness will activate a feeling of love for Hashem and an awe of Hashem. And then our actions will also be permeated by happiness. When we act, when we bring our lowest part of us, which is action is the lowest part of a person. the physical action. It's the most physical, so to speak. But when we act in a in a happy way, in a spiritual way, meaning we dance for Hashem, like on Shabbos, we clap our hands, we sing, we do kind deeds. When we act in a way of this powerful, happy connection to God, when we act upon it, it increases all of our levels. Then we'll notice we'll feel emotions, intellect, and an enjoyment of serving Hashem. Meaning when we skip, we don't need our own intellect's permission to be happy to serve Hashem. And when we just act upon it, then our intellect and our emotions go up as well. This is a known Hasidic principle. That's why that's why the most important is action. Even if a person's having bad thoughts, God forbid, or bad emotions, the action is the most important. So when we get ourselves to, even when we're not feeling so excited, but we get ourselves to act in an excited and happy way to serve Hashem, we'll notice that then our intellect and our emotions will be on par, and our service of Hashem will be with a much greater light upon us. So may Hashem bless you. May we be able to access this simcha, this joy, and get us ready and welcome the month of Adar. Hashem bless you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like this and share with others to help spread the Torah.